I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I'm out here in the garage and today is running about 10 degrees. So it's a bit nippy, but I got the front doors open so that I get some more light in. I noticed that the last video that I did out in the garage was kind of dark. I actually ended up having to change and edit the video to get it brighter so you could actually see me. But I think today we're going to have enough light in here to see what's going on. For one thing, if you look behind me, there's a fluorescent light back there. It's got two new tubes in it. They're both LEDs. The LEDs light when it's really cold out, unlike fluorescents. So even though it's 10 degrees today, I've got a light in the back of the garage, even with the doors open. Now that we got the preliminaries out of the way, I'm going to cut this piece of steel pipe because I need it for a special purpose. I drilled these heavy wall steel tubes and I'm going to put a bolt through there, but because I'm going to be putting so much load on them, I want to put a bushing inside there. That'll keep this tube from collapsing when I tighten the bolt up. And also, when I have a huge load on the hoist, it won't twist this tube. Now the inside measurement on this tube is 1 5/8 inches. I'm going to cut this just a little bit long because this saw wanders. Cut it at 1 3/4 inches. That way I can grind off the ends and make sure it's square. So what I'm going to do is just mark out this tube. Now I'm going to set this in the saw and let it work on this. Now I'm going to grind off these pieces of pipe so that they'll drop down into this tube. Okay, now I've got my bushing in there. I'll grind this other one to fit this other tube. I'm going to interrupt that cut for a little bit because I want to do some tacking and I want to use the new welder. So we're going to give the Metal Man a try and see how it does. Now, I'm not a professional welder anymore. It's been a long time since I welded professionally. So I weld a bead about once every 6-8 months. So chances are, if there's a problem, it's mine, not the welder's. But we'll find out soon enough. Metal Man has a couple of things that I like about it. One, it's DC. Two, it is set up so that it runs on 110. Just off a 20 amp outlet right over there on the wall. Just like the saw, just like the grinder. So when I weld with DC, it's going to act a little differently than when I weld with AC. And that's going to make a difference in how I do it. Hopefully not going to bother anything, but it's definitely going to make a difference in how I weld. We'll just have to see. If I got to fiddle with things a bit, bear with me. There, that's 2 good welds. Gotta say, I'm impressed with that little guy. It doesn't have a very big duty cycle at 70 amps, but it buzzes right along, does a good job of welding. Now we'll see if I welded that bolt into place. Evidently not. That's just fine. Okay, I'm going to turn the saw back on and let it finish making this cut while I weld up the next 2. Not the greatest welds in the world, but more than adequate. 7014, 3/32 rod, negative ground, about 70 amps. Works really good. For a little bitty welder, does a nice job. Now the wobbles and bobbles, that's my fault. That's my welding. The welder itself penetrated well, stuck to both sides. I did a weave because I was running such a small rod, but it flowed out good. I'm very happy with it. Now 60 amps, 70 amps, I should be able to run 1/8 inch rod. I don't happen to have any right here in the shop, so I'm not going to try it, but I think it would do it just fine. Well, that's the problem. It's so cold out here, my hood fogged up and I couldn't see what I was welding, so I welded right along next to where the weld was. That was strictly operator error. Now that's laying a bead where I wanted it. too bad about the first one. It's actually flowing really good. The welder's working great. The operator's not so hot. Well, the camera stopped right along in here, and this is as good a spot as any to stop. I finished up welding out the end of these two tubes and went on to other things. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. That little Metal Man Welder worked really well. I'm excited because it's hooked to 110. I can weld almost anywhere. Thanks for watching.